Hello, welcome to Skull RPG Podcast. My name's Dwight Skull.
My name's Jacob Skull.
And today we're going to teach you how to tell your story.
So in the last couple episodes, we've been talking about how to create a horror, killer horror, and then we've been diving into depth about a full-on concept. So we talked about the setting, then we've talked about the monster that's doing it, and then we've talked about...
Oh, we're going to talk about now the NPCs.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard our Making Memorable NPCs, you should probably go back and listen to that, but you don't have to. We're actually going to create 10 memorable NPCs and kind of do maybe the first 5 days of a 3-week timeline. So I'm just... actually, if you want to just introduce each one, I'll kind of respond back to who they are.
Okay. So Dwight, who is the mayor?
Well, the mayor's name is Garl. He's a halfling, he's male, and I would make him clueless and afraid. So as the players are interacting with the mayor might be like, "Oh, hi, I don't even know what your names are. How are you doing?" And I'd put in maybe a little bit of a stutter or a stumble in that, just so, if you ask me who I was, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm the mayor. My name's Jarl. How nice to meet you." Just because I wanted to be clueless and I wanted to be afraid. And so any kind of key words or anything, any kind of important information, he may say he doesn't know, or he may be like, "Oh, you need to go ask somebody else who might actually, have more information than me."
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully, you listening can hear the voice inflection that immediately
He has no
would...
idea.
But it would also immediately, if you come across somebody and it's like, "Oh, someone's walking towards you," and he says, "Oh, hey, how are you guys doing?" You immediately know, oh, this is Jarl, the mayor. Okay.
So the next one would be the baker.
Baker's name is Edwin. He's human. He's male. He's very jovial. He's helpful with the town history for the players and any kind of gossip. And so I might have him more like a Santa Claus type, where he's just kind of laughing and jovial. And he's like, "Oh, how are you doing? Ha! It's so good to see you in my establishment. Where have you been? Where are you going? How can I help you? Don't listen to him. He's a known thief." That sort of thing. Or he might even call people out, like, in the bakery, shop, like, yell out, like, "Amora, get your hands away from that. I don't want you touching my bread. I'll get it for you." These sorts of things where but he's boisterous. He's bigger than life. And any questions they have, he will be like, "Oh, of course, the Druid and the wizard have always hated one another. That's just how they are."
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So always into the gossip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one would be the butcher's wife.
Alamora, dwarven, female. She's suspicious of the wizard, and I like to think that she's like a conspiracy theorist for stuff that actually doesn't really matter. So I would, since I'm a male and she's a female, I'd go really high with her, and I'd be like, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" And then, it's like, "Have you heard what the wizard's doing? I think he's going to kill all of us. I heard that he is working with the evil demons to open up a gate into this world so that they can create hell on earth. Hell on earth. Can you believe it? I can't even believe it. What are we going to do? Think of the children." Maybe just mock her after one of the Simpsons characters.
Flanders.
Maud Flanders. Like, that would be really helpful, actually. If you can figure out a person in a thing that you can think about. I'm like, okay, she's going to be Maud Flanders, who's suspicious of the wizard, but also believes in these weird theories that no one can think of.
Yeah.
Where are the Wolfsbane children? It keeps the wizards away. And you're like, what are you talking about? It doesn't... Okay, fine. Fine, Alamora, we'll do that. Just leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you listening can see how helpful this would be if you can get these voices down in your head and practice them a little bit before your game, where you can easily flip from one to the next, because if you hear Maud, immediately it's Maud. But I don't know what to do. And there's Jarl, and "Oh, ha, ha, it's great to be here." You get this jovial baker. You can really get some feeling for it. But anyway, 10 is hard. 10 normally is not what you'd want to do, but we're going to do 10 just because we need to kill off many of these people as we go through.
Yep. So the next one's the blacksmith.
Galore, a dwarven male who's boastful. and he says he will kill the beast with his bare hands. So as the murders start happening and it kind of becomes obvious that everything is the same, like there's an MO for what happens. We'll get into that here in a second. Glor maybe he's gruff and he's boastful. And he says things like, I've killed more men than anyone here. They should be letting me take over the town guard. They should let me take care of this. There's no reason to investigate. We'll just start stringing people up until they tell us who did it, and then I'll choke that thing out with my bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get a dwarven, boastful blacksmith.
Yep. The next one is the Druid.
Druid elven female named Rodwin. She openly distrusts the wizard, and basically, if she's in town, she's accusing him of evil doing. And so, again, female, but I would make her smart female, not Maud Flanders. So maybe she's just she takes ordinarily long pauses because she's used to being in the woods and thinking for herself. But that wizard's up to no good, I tell you. He's been seen in my woods. He's been taking things. He's been killing animals for his own purposes. If he needs stuff, he should let me know and I can get it for him without killing the beasts. But that man's up to no good, I tell you.
Mm-hmm. The next one is the head of the town guard.
Garl, a half-orc fighter male who's thug-like and violent. So I might do a little thing like the blacksmith. I might go deeper, but I'm not going to go evil. And I'm Garl. And if you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock your head together. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to find out who's eating these brains and killing these children and old men. And when we find them, we're going to string them up.
Mm-hmm. Going a little bit more deeper with the voice since they're rough to help distinguish.
Yep, exactly.
The next one is Cleric.
Cleric, male, elf. His name is Glandur. He's openly hostile toward the town guard, but he's greedy. And I might just use my own voice for the cleric or one of these people. It just makes my life easier, And but what I have to do then is I have to put a little bit of a small inflection. So Glandur, I don't know if I would trust the town guard if I was you. They've been known to, I don't know how you say, take care of people that shouldn't have been taken care of. And, look, I can show you around the town. If you just make a donation to my church, I'd be more than happy to take you and show you all the things that you might want to see. And those that give me a donation every month and every week, they're given certain privileges in the cleric temple. Free healings, for example.
Mm-hmm. Having him drone on and how to try to milk it to nickel and dime you for everything you have.
Every time. And even your information would be that way. Like, hey, Glander, have you heard about this? Oh, I might have heard about it, but I have memory problems. And I stick my hand out and, ask for money that way. And, of course, if you give me money...
Small donation to the church would help me go back through my records.
Yeah. I'm sure it's written down, but it takes time for me to go back and get them,
It's hard to keep my church afloat with no donations. So could you help me out?
Exactly.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Exactly. It's just horrible. We're going to go ahead and end it right here at part 1. We'll do part 2 tomorrow for the rest of the NPCs, plus 5 days of who gets killed and kind of how they get killed. It can give you a really good jump start on basically that whole entire timeline for 3 weeks. If you want to actually see that entire timeline, if you go to skullrpg.com/resources, you will not only get the monster stats for 5e from the last episode, but you'll also get all of the characters that we're developing here as well. And you can also get the first 5 days of this timeline that can give you a jump start on running this campaign or something like it in your own game. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for listening.
And for more resources, please go to skullrpg.com.